Hey, how's it going, guys? This is your boy Hazzed, and for the first time in a few days, I'm able to put on a shirt because I was so dang burnt and blistered. So, anyways, today we're going to talk about dual wield rotation. What should you be doing? What should you be looking for? What shouldn't you be doing? And we're going to talk about different styles that are actually going on between different players right now in arena, outside, dueling, and a couple different things that I see going on. And we're going to cover those. Differentials and why people are thinking that and doing that. And yeah, let's jump into this, guys.
Eternal and no one immortal, creation all we death is destruction. We cannot change the fate of civilization.
Guys, we're going to talk about my rotation, my personal rotation. I've got a funky little rotation I'm doing a lot different from everyone else because I don't utilize Obliterate as much because people tend to think that they're playing this dual wield playstyle like they're using a two-hand and they're smashing on Obliterate to get that burst damage, which on recount it says you're getting higher damage, which you technically are during that second. Just keep with me. That second you're doing higher damage. But since we have a mastery build with the dual wield, our damage is actually going to be higher in the long run. You know, I said it's a grind, guys. It's a grind. It's not about that damage up front. If you want damage up front, go back two-hander. Spam your obliterates all you want. But that rotation is not going to take you up and up with dual wield. Now, you can't toss them in here and there, guys. There is some time for it. Now, why do I have a deep rotation, on my frost damage, not obliterates. Guys, look at this. This is the most OP thing they've ever added in any kind of PvP season. The most ridiculous thing I've ever seen them do. And I'm just going to show you this now. Look at my weapons here, guys. You see that socket bonus, the 50 mastery. You see the other weapon, the 50 mastery. You see my belt. I put versatility in that just to get the 6% versatility because I noticed it's was sitting just below. Why not? And then, of course, and I got pants mastery. You can get every single piece of gear in your inventory and socket that biatch with mastery to make your frost damage and your frost strikes, howling blasts, anything of those sorts do such crazy amount of damage that hitting obliterate would only be good at key points and times if you are locked out of runic power at the time, sitting 2 runes. Otherwise, if you're rocking a 4 set, you can use it, but because of how much I don't utilize it with how much I'm stacking mastery like a crazy son of a... you notice here that I don't even utilize it half the time because my obliterates at this point hit as much as one single howling blast. One howling blast. And people were like, well, why don't you use that and then go off the proc? Well, look at it this way. My howling blasts are guaranteed, guys. You can parry an obliterate, you can dodge an obliterate. A lot of people are like, we have trouble with ferals. I'm like, well, how much do you use obliterate? They're like, quite a lot. And I'm like, well, let me guess. He dodges 90% of the damn things. Well, do you ever try using Howling Blast? Could work. Anyways, guys, so my rotation, people are like, they start out with obliterates, which is cool. No, I start out with plague strikes. They're like, why do you start out with plague strikes, Haste? And I'm like, because it's not all about that upfront damage, guys. First of all, when you hit a plague strike, you're applying the dot. When you hit a plague strike again, you're applying the dot again. Then when you use your howling blast, you're stacking that dot. And people are like, how do you do so much damage so dang quick? Now watch when that dot stacked. When that dot stacked and my runic power hits full, which I just took it off, it's okay. I'll just restack it back up, which ain't no big deal anyway. We'll just stack that back up real quick. It actually does take a little while to stack if you notice. And if you're hitting those obliterates, you're basically hardly even capping. Now I'm capped, I got that proc. This is we're gonna be when we use our cooldowns and whatnot. And basically we're using that. And we're just gonna dump that runic power and lay in those howling blasts. And they're like, why aren't you using the obliterates? Because every single one of those procs is gonna go into a frost strike. And then I'm going to throw those back into... See, now we need to stack it back up. And how we stack it back up quick? We got to throw those back into it. You can't just be hitting those obliterates and not stacking and just not utilizing your necrotic plague. Because that's just giant... It's just useless. And they're like, well, it doesn't do as much DPS. It's not doing as much DPS that second. But the damage over time is going to be a heck of a lot higher than with, spamming those obliterates. Now, I can show you what I mean by that. We'll back off it for 2 seconds here. And let things fall off when we reset this. Now I'll show you the obliterate damage up front. Like I got an obliterate proc here. I'm going to go in hard, just spamming obliterates, hitting those frost strike procs, going in, getting a good frost strike here and there. And you can get your burst DPS up to about 30,000 using obliterates. But here's the problem. Runic Starve, just like two-hander. What's that going to do? What's that gonna do? And also, Necrotic Plague is halfway over, and it was stacked up to 6. And I was runic starved. That is a giant problem, guys. That is a huge problem. You cannot be riding Obliterate that hard. And the reason I'm making this video for rotation and how to DPS, I saw a 2700 Gladiator spamming his damn face on Obliterate harder than I could see. I mean, it was just like Obliterate was his only button. And I kept seeing this repetitiveness for multiple DKs, dual DKs, and I'm watching them like, just because, man, just because you're just not playing this style correctly. It's okay, man. We got this. But people are like rotation, and they're like, so what makes this style better? It's just, guys, it's guaranteed damage. You're not gonna miss, and once you actually start stacking up your mastery to crazy amounts, hitting Obliterate doesn't actually. It doesn't amount to much. I mean, it really doesn't, guys. It just turns out to be a killing machine waste. I mean, I really haven't had a time to hit it or needed to hit it at any point during this. Look at those procs. Everything just thrown up nice. Everything coming out good. Gonna hit them procs, and it just Obliterate becomes a waste, guys. I did not need to hit it at any point there. My damage would have fallen if I would have hit it at any point there. Even though my burst DPS would have gone up slightly for the second, it would have hurt me in the long run, guys. So as for the rotation, guys, it is pretty simple. I mean, as you saw, it's, you know, just a couple Plague Strikes popping off and then Howling Blast. And once you get your Frost Strike procs, you're throwing those in. And of course, if you're trying to burst, guys, as you saw, how to build a fast burst, you want to get that runic power up there. You want to almost cap off that Necrotic Plague. You get it pretty high. And then once, you'll notice with this rotation, you can get your Necrotic Plague like fully stacked, pop your cooldowns, you know, near full stack, and then go complete ham. And other DKs I've dueled, they'll also be able to tell you, I finish my duels with other DKs in 4 to 5 seconds usually because I stack Runic Power. They come in close. They've got full stack and Necrotic Plague. They don't know what's about to happen. All of a sudden, I Runic Dump on them, silence them so fast that and just blow them up. And they don't even know what happened. And they're like, what the heck just happened? I barely did any damage to you. And I was like, did you obliterate me? They're like, yeah. And I was like, well, I parried all 3 of those. And you were screwed from there. You didn't have necrotic stacks or anything, so you really couldn't pressure me. So there's a couple 3 key things at play here, guys, that people aren't thinking about, and they're really utilizing these obliterates. Which before the nerf, I really would have utilized the obliterates, but since they buffed the crap out of the other things, guys, there's really not any point to venture there. Besides, if you're completely runic power starved, you have 2 runes, and you can throw that in for you know, a couple runic power to throw in for a proc to get your runes back. But besides that, I really would not venture there, guys. I really wouldn't. Maybe for a little bit of single target damage here and there, but besides that, guys, I just there's not a reason to spam obliterate that much. I've been noticing that with a lot of people, and a lot of people have been asking about that, so I thought I'd make a video kind of just referring to that and showing you guys what's. Let's talk about one last playstyle I've been seeing a lot, and I've been seeing guys in Arena using this playstyle. It's definitely not my kind of thing, but we'll go over it anyways just because. Basically, it's the Obliterate, Dispel, Frost Strike playstyle, which I don't like. I really don't like it. I don't like the fact that they really want us to kind of play this in Arena, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it, never. Anyways, guys, so basically what we're going to do with the spec is we're going to apply our dots, and then we're just going to run in and obliterate, and any procs that we get goes to dispels. If we don't have runic power, the proc goes into obliterate, otherwise we frost strike. Otherwise, if we have a single frost rune, they can go into dispels. But besides that, yeah, it's just it's a very easy rotation, guys. This is just like, yeah, if you want easy rating, play with the healer. Use this little spec here. Basically, it's gonna be your OP spam dispel / do damage. Pretty brainless, easy to do. I mean, you notice the necrotic plague, you're not even really paying attention to it. It's pretty face roll, and if you want to dispel people and deal a little bit of pressure, this is gonna be the spec you want to play, I suppose, in Arena. But yeah, that should be about it for the Arena spec, guys. That is just about all the Arena spec changes. Yeah, you're about spamming obliterates, dispelling, and using frost strikes. But if you want to deal a lot more damage, guys, and have a lot more pressure and deal damage in like AoE situations, RPGs, and whatnot, Definitely kind of focus on that other playstyle. But if you want to push arena raiding with a healer, this will be how you will have to do it. Sadly, much sadly.